Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Couples Academy show. My name is Hassani.
I'm Danielle.
And every morning we come to you for inspiration and information about how you can take your relationship to the next level. It's a new year. We're excited. We're going to be talking about this new year at the beginning of the year till it's no longer the beginning of the year. Because that's what Hassani does. So there it is.
Right. That's what we all do. We're going to talk about this year from the beginning of the year until the end of January, because January is the new year. Then when February comes around, ain't nobody thinking about a new year.
There it is.
Which is really a great segue into what we're going to be talking about today, because things just become monotonous.
They do.
And mundane.
They do.
But before we tell them the topic, you have something to share.
I'm going to share that as soon as we tell them the topic. So tell them the topic. What's the topic? What's the topic?
Hassani, see, you know how Hassani's always talking about how I act crazy? He acts crazy too.
All right,
Y'all don't know.
All right.
We have a good time behind the scenes.
I'll tell them. So listen, we have sold out for the Last Chance weekend. It was scheduled for, I think it was January the 20th to the 22nd. And so we opened up the last weekend of the month. And so it is now available on the 29th through the 31st. It is not too late. People are really taking advantage of it. I don't know if you know, but December and January are the 2 months of the year where there's the highest percentages of people who file for divorce. And before people actually sign those papers, they're looking for something. They're looking for hope. They're looking for inspiration. But listen, guys, it's not too late. We have another Last Chance weekend ready for you. So take a look at this quick commercial and we'll be right back. Unfortunately, that is the state that so many couples are in, where they've reached a place of complete despair. They've lost all hope. They've lost all sense of, possibility. And we want to let you know that we have been there. So if that is you, we know exactly where you're at. And it is not too late to turn things around. Why not start the year off strong by rededicating time, energy, effort, and making an investment in your marriage, which is ultimately making an investment in your future. So listen, the link is in the description. Sign up. We would love to help guide you through a process of restoration.
Absolutely.
So what are we talking about today, Danielle?
Well, today, everybody, first of all, thank you for joining us. When you come on, just make sure that you say hello, say good morning, so that we know that you're there, where you're from. We'd love to shout you out. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. That's super important. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that you get notified every morning when we come on live. Today, we are talking about why you're bored and what to do about it. Join us now.
We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, founders of Couples Academy, a private practice dedicated to saving marriages around the world.
We're not just recognized authorities on relationships. We're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission? To change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships.
This is the Couples Academy show.
Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about why your marriage is boring and what to do about it. And here's the deal. The truth is that after some time, things can really get boring if you're not committed to your marriage. And when Hassani and I said I do, we were committed. We were committed to seeing this thing through till death do us part, right? And so that's what you got to do. You got to really have a mindset that, you know what, no matter what, we can overcome. But before I get into the topic, I definitely do want to say good morning to a few people. Hey, Torre, Jaguar, good to see you. Ronald, Gigi, Didi, and Kiera. Good morning. I haven't seen you in a while. And Facebook user JCJD. Good to see you guys. Hello to everyone. I wish I could call all the names out, but I just want to say good morning to all of you. Thank you guys for joining us every morning. It's interesting how when we start out in these relationships, there's so much passion and connection and magnetic,
attraction,
attraction to us. And, it's interesting how Jada and Will use that word entanglement in a negative way, right? There was an entanglement, but we actually feel entangled when we get together. We cannot let go. It's just like, we're meant to be together. But something happens along the way. I'll never forget. One time Hassani and I went on a date. I don't even know if we were married at that point, but we went on the Spirit of Philadelphia, wasn't it? Am I right?
Yeah, it was the Spirit of Philadelphia.
Spirit of Philadelphia.
It was like a dinner cruise.
It was that was like big back then, right? The Spirit of Philadelphia, you got a nice dinner, you cruised around is that a lake, a river, whatever that is in front of Philadelphia?
The harbor? The harbor, something.
And you cruised around and you looked at all the sights. Well, Hassani and I, we were madly in love at that point. I mean, we were entangled, And we just noticed a couple that was up on a upper tier. They were older, but I don't think they were old.
They weren't old.
But they were older, and they sat on that cruise the entire time and said not a word. They ate in silence. They stared around the room in silence. They watched all the other folks who were having a great time in silence. And we said, I never want to be that couple.
Ever.
We never want to be that
Never,
couple. Whatever's wrong with that couple, we don't want that disease. Okay? Because that's what it is. It's like a disease that creeps into the relationship and causes us so many problems. And we're thinking, you know what? There's something wrong with you. Like, maybe I made a mistake. Why am I bored? Why don't I feel that kinetic attraction anymore?
Right. It was Penn's Landing. It was Penn's Landing. Yeah. And you know what? That's the reality. When you have become bored in your relationship and there's no connection and there's nothing going on, even if you go on a date, you're going to be two people bored on a date. And so you really have to dig into the DNA of what has happened in that relationship and how to begin to turn things around to put that passion, that drive, that excitement, that intensity back into the relationship to take it to the next level.
And here's the other thing. Like, I don't want you to think that getting bored it means we're in trouble. We're bored. I mean, that's kind of a cycle of life, even the cycle of a day for some people. I mean, I tend to get very bored. I'm always saying I'm so bored. Oh my God. But I'm just bored in general. Like, I like to find something exciting to get myself involved with on a regular basis. Okay. But that's a personality type too. So that has something to do with it. But what are you going to do in response to your boredom? And there's lots of reasons why we might be bored. One of them is that you just don't really know each other. And there's different ways that could take place. You may have jumped into a relationship too quickly, right? And you never did experience a full transparency. Meaning there are some things that Hassani talks about this all the time, the dark side of the moon, right?
Yeah.
Where there's all these personality characteristics that we aren't aware of. Well, if you jump quickly into a relationship, it's likely that you wouldn't know it.
Yeah, because, truth be told, there are 4 seasons to a relationship. You have your dating season, you have committed courtship, you have engagement, and then you have marriage. And so each one of those seasons comes with a higher level of commitment and responsibility and expectation. And it should really be a deeper dive into getting to know who that person is. What we found is that for certain people, once they reach a certain age, they're like, we know what we want. I know what I want. You know what you want. You know God. I know God. You got your money. I got my money. Let's make this thing happen. And they race into marriage or commitment. And you're right. They don't know each other.
Right.
And so it's just like, wake up one day, like, who are you?
Yeah, and why are you so boring? Like, nothing is fulfilling. If we're having coffee and tea together, it's boring.
Because in the beginning, it was fresh, it was new, it was exciting, and it's just like, listen, you can't, not that I know about this, but I've been told you can't make chitlins in a microwave, right? Certain things take time. You've got to marinate it. You got to take the time. You got to let that thing develop, right? Same thing with the relationship.
Why chitlins?
And so
You don't
if
even
you're
eat a chitlin.
I don't need it, but I watch people who do. But what I'm saying is, if you don't know who that person is, you've raced into something, you realize, wait a minute, do I even like? And so you need to take the time.
Do I even like you? Sometimes we do that. We ask, do I even like you? We have to figure that part out too. The other reason that you may not know the person is because over time we change. Scientists say that in every 7 years, you're literally biologically a brand new person, new cells, new blood, all of that. Think about yourself 15, 20 years ago. You're not the same person. You probably don't even have the same mindset, same beliefs. You've changed, you've learned more, you've expanded. And so when you've changed and your partner is expecting you or sees you as the person that they met maybe 10 years ago, then there's this disconnect, right? And so the things that interest me that may not interest Hassani, now we are going our separate ways because we're bored together. So that's another reason why you might not know the person, that you've just changed. Let's go to a comment. Do you have a comment?
Yeah, Kia says, wow, I see couples not talking also. It is so drab. I vowed always to have at least something to discuss. Life is full of awesome things to talk about and to embrace. Find some great jokes, laugh out loud. Exactly.
That's a great idea. I love to joke. Not everybody does, though, but I do love a good laugh, but that's a good point. Find some other things to talk about. And that goes into really discovering your spouse and learning more about them. And if there's nothing else to learn, then that means that there's some growth that needs to happen between the both of you.
I think what happens is we get caught up in patterns. So whether you've been with someone for a year, 10 years, whatever the case may be, you know the depths of that person in very specific lanes and pockets, but you may not know the breadth of that person. And so, like, for instance, remember we just went away, whenever we went away to Miami, you had this book of questions. It was great, right?
Yeah,
it allowed us to engage in conversations that we would have never had before. Like, I mean, some serious thought-provoking questions. So sometimes you need assistance. There's all types of things that you can incorporate into your conversation that really heightens it.
Yeah, that's a good idea, to get a book that will... 5 and Below, guys. 5.
That's where you got that book?
Yes, sir.
That was a good book.
5 and Below has 1,001 ways and books and things where you could get into coloring, grown-up coloring together, learning, asking questions, and doing things to expand. Another reason why you might be bored is because maybe you're just joined at the hip. And all of these examples actually do boil down a personality style for real. They do, because there are some people that are more clingy than others, right? And they don't want you to leave the house because they don't want to leave the house. They don't want you to go to the store by yourself because they want to go with you, right? Yeah. You can't go to the hair salon by yourself. Like, they just want to be with you. It's not wrong. They love you. They just want to spend time and be all up under you.
When I go to bed, you got to go to bed.
Yes, it's time to go to bed. No, it's not. It's time for you to go to bed. Right? So you're just too clingy. You're all up on each other. There's no space between you. And so that can become boring and feel a little bit of controlling too.
And so it's always good to create an artificial distance. Now, people who are wired differently may take that and run, because some people want autonomy. Some people want to just be independent, to be by themselves, and they don't ever have to be.
But it's all personality styles, y'all. We got to learn to balance it.
You got to balance that thing out. You got to balance it out. There's got to be, that's what I'm saying. When you have sacred time for you as a couple, as well as sacred time for you as an individual. And guess what? My individual time should not be competing with my couple time. Like, my wife shouldn't feel some type of way because I decided to do something for myself. Why? Because I've prioritized our marriage, and on our schedule we have this day and that day where we spend quality time together. So we done got that in. Yes. And I need time to become my best self.
Yes. And you know what? We're such a good pair because out of the two of us, I'm the more autonomous one, right? But Hassani tends to be more busy. Like, I'm doing other things. I have a very flexible schedule with the kids and all that, and work. Like, you know how it is with wives. We're working, we're managing the kids, we're doing the grocery, doing the house, all that stuff. Well, Hassani has a very specific schedule, right? But that actually works for me, because I need my autonomy and my space. So his busyness actually works for me. And then when it's time for us to get together, the time that's left, that works for me too. And it ends up working for us.
And you got to figure out what works for you and your partner.
That's the point. Like, he doesn't feel neglected. I don't feel smothered. It's just a perfect balance. And that's what you need to find, that perfect balance. So it doesn't get boring. It's always exciting for me because there's so much mix up going on. The next reason is that your communication is non-existent, and that goes back to the folks who we saw at the daggone Spirit of Philadelphia, that they had nothing to say. And I love that last comment she shared, how find something to talk about. I mean, you talk about the levels of communication. Talk about that a little bit, how the cliches and all that. A lot of us are stuck at cliche, and that's it.
So cliche conversations, I mean, really, you think about it. You go to the supermarket, somebody's standing in front of you, waiting to check out. You make eye eye contact. You say, oh, good morning. Oh, good morning. Beautiful day, isn't it? Oh, the weather's great. How you doing? I'm doing great. How are you? Not that you care,
right?
But they're niceties. It's small talk. You do it to be normal.
Out of obligation,
right?
Like you see somebody, you got to say something.
But what happens is in relationships, sometimes that's all couples have, are nothing more than cliche conversations because there's nothing that they have to talk about. So all they talk about are bills and work and the kids and whatever else. There's just surface, or maybe they just deal with the general facts because generally, you know what happened in the news today, or my mother-in-law just nothing. But there's no depth, there's no significance. The average couple, according to U.S. and UK statistics, they speak for about 4 minutes a day.
Wow.
4 minutes of conversation, and usually it's done at the most inappropriate, inconvenient times. Right, early in the morning as they're racing off to work, and late at night when they come home from an exhaustive day at work, and they're spent, and there's really nothing else to talk about. We've been talking with our friends, talking with our coworkers, talking with our clients, and enjoying it. But somehow when we come home, it's just like it is what it is, what it is.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's not something that we can't overcome or we can't get through. I don't know if we have a couple of comments, but I know we have to actually go to a break.
We'll be right back. Listen. Stay tuned because there's a lot that we have to share. Sign up today for the Better Marriage Club and receive exclusive access to the private Facebook group to get your questions answered and your problems solved. Access to our marriage library of live seminars. Watch the Couples Academy Daily Show. Call the help hotline for laser coaching. Get our weekly action guides and receive a private one-on-one call with one of our marriage coaches. To join the Better Marriage Club, simply text MARRIAGE to 973-490-4668. Join today. Your marriage deserves it. That's right, guys. Listen, we've been talking about this as of yesterday. Our new program is the Better Marriage Club. If that is you, if you're in a relationship and you want to take your marriage to the next level, you need to text MARRIAGE to 973-490-4668. It's an amazing program where we just give you a little bit of more extra right? So of course you have access to the Couples Academy show daily where we do our live coaching, but we're gonna send you accountability texts on a weekly basis just to give you some inspiration and instruction about what to do with your relationship at that particular time. We have a number of modules that we put together that you could sit down with your spouse on your work day to guide you through a process to take that relationship to the next level. We even have a 1 hour per day call-in line. It's called the Marriage Help Hotline. For those of you who are in crisis or you have a quick question, we're doing more to really take these relationships where they ultimately need to be. Some of you are looking for a little bit more hope, a little bit more help, and that's what this is designed to do. So once again, text MARRIAGE to 973-490-4668. It is free. Sign up today because your marriage absolutely deserves it.
Yeah, these are unprecedented times, y'all. I don't think marriages and families have ever been under this level of stress, right? With all that we've had to endure throughout 2020 and now what we're going through, just starting out 1 week into 2021, we already have anarchy going on. So this is the time to dial in, right? And just to figure out a way to at least have a strong foundation under your roof, because that's the only thing you can control. If you can't control that, then if there's anarchy in your home, then where do you go for safety?
Where do you go?
Right now. So the program is free. Tell them the number to text again.
The number, I got to get back to that screen. Thank you, Danielle. The Better Marriage Club. There it is. You want to text MARRIAGE to 973-490-4668. Go on to the next point.
All right. right. So the next point. So here's what we're going to talk about now is what can you do about it, guys? What can you do about the boredom? We have kind of put some nuggets in here and there. I literally tend to be bored all the time, so I will do crazy things like attack Asani and choke him out and stuff. He loves it.
So you gonna tell the people you choke me out? That's what you do. Like you hit me up against like you hit me up against the wall with one hand.
He's so blessed to have me. He knows it. He gonna play it off, but he knows that I'm the sunshine of his life. Because the boredom gets to me, so I'm always trying to find things to do to shake things up. But the first thing that you need to do to deal with this boredom is to change your outlook and your perspective on things, right? When you feel bored in your relationship, you feel trapped, and a lot of times you start to think the worst, like,
no, go ahead.
Oh. So a lot of times you start to think the worst, like this isn't working, there's something broken. A lot of times you want to get out because of months and years of boredom, just the same old, same old. Shift your perspective and recognize that you are the common denominator, and you actually are the change you are waiting for. So you can be the change, and you can bring new energy and new excitement into the relationship.
Absolutely. Ronald says, I thought that I was the only one that get beat up by my wife. I still love her. So you get beat. I said, first of all, I didn't acknowledge that I get beat up or beat down by my wife. No.
He gets loved up.
There we go.
Roughly.
I get See, she grew up with 4 boys, so she's used to getting muffed up.
Once in a while it just happens. I just, catch him off guard. He don't know. Hem him up, arm behind the back, that kind of thing. And he loves it. You love it, don't you?
Go on to the next point.
So tip number 2, spice up the day-to-day life, right? I shared with this last year. I did the love dare. It just came upon me. I was bored. I said, you know what, let me shake this thing up and have like this exciting love dare. So I challenged a bunch of you out there to do it with me, and you did. And a lot of people did some amazing things for their partners. I remember I made that love potion number 9. I documented that whole thing, and it was in a little valve with a cork, and I made Hassani drink it, and it fizzed all over the place. And it was just fun. So you can bring that energy, change things up in the day-to-day.
And we're going to do that this year. Like heading into February, Valentine's Day is international lovers holiday, and we want to do something uniquely different to ramp that up, and we're going to do a love challenge.
Yeah.
So make sure you stay tuned for that, because it's a way for all of us to engage in something.
And we should compete with each other. All of you who want to do it, couples compete. So I'm going to take you down with this love challenge.
That ain't going to happen.
And you plan to take me down with the love challenge.
Without a doubt.
We're just going to walk out of this feeling so in love.
That's a good competition. So many couples compete on so many different things, and it's just like, dude, we're on the same team. We're not in competition with each other. But when it comes to things like this, these healthy competitions actually really help, and they're inspiring to really do great things for your relationship. Tanya says, yes, boredom, get busy, play board games naked. Boom!
Ooh.
All right now.
That's a great idea.
That's a really good idea.
I mean, we've probably done that
We've never played once. A board game naked.
Yes, we have.
A board game?
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway. Next.
It's about to happen. Thank you, Tanya. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you for that, guys. Take that note down. Board games naked.
Just make sure you padlock your door, right? Soundproof your room.
See, that's why he can't remember. Because these kids been walking for so long, he can't remember before they could walk.
Yeah, well, you know what? You're right. That's true. That's true. But, if you have kids, maybe you want to get away to a hotel, just do something. See, that type of thing, when you break up the monotony and you just are playful in that way, it really brings out the youthfulness in you. It brings back the connection that you once had in your relationship. It's something that re-sparks things. I love that idea.
Yes. Tip number 3. Have your own life outside your marriage, right?
Yeah, I agree with that 1,000%. Like, you need to have your own friends. You need to have a community, because guess what? You need to have something to come back to share with your spouse.
Exactly, because see, when you have your own friends in your own life, and I don't mean excluding your spouse from that, like, bring them in. I talk to my husband all the time about what me and my friends are talking about. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, this is going on. This is what we're going to do. We're excited about this. Like, that's what you do. Have a life outside of your marriage so that you can bring new energy and conversations and topics into your marriage. That avoids boredom.
And let me just lay the proper foundation, because some of you are so disconnected. Mm-hmm. You don't have any type of relationship. You live in avoidance. You're like 2 ships passing in the middle of the night. You're not connected at all. So you're saving grace is outside relationships with your friends and with your family, and you're doing that as a way of getting away from your spouse. Now that's a problem. So if that's you, build that foundation, because this right here is the primary relationship, and all other relationships come secondary and tertiary and so on and so forth from there. So make sure that this is solid, and then begin to go out and add on to those relationships with other people, because it will enhance your marriage.
Absolutely. Y'all are giving me life with these comments. First of all, Tanya, I'm coming to see you in a minute, so I'm gonna let you know. Number 2, Kia. She got the nerve to say Twister.
Yeah.
Add naked to that.
I like that.
Twister.
I like that.
See, there is no excuse for us to be bored.
At all.
It is completely a decision. It's you doing this. I ain't gonna do nothing unless he does something. He ain't done nothing, so I ain't done nothing.
And you waiting.
And you're
waiting.
waiting on somebody to come and save you from your situation, and you are the change you are waiting for. Get you some Twister and do it naked tonight.
That's a great idea, folks. So we'll be back with the testimony in the morning.
Right, but no pictures. Please don't send us pictures. Tip number 4, keep learning about your spouse, yourself and your spouse. And I think that's kind of reiterating what we've said before. Like, keep learning. First of all, you need to actually keep learning for yourself as an individual. And as you do that, you will develop and become a new and interesting person, right? Hassani and I are always doing that, taking classes, learning things together. And as a result, we become new people, right? And so now we always have a new person to learn and to discover and to observe. And that keeps the mundane away.
Absolutely. Couldn't say it better myself.
So let's take some comments, because that was my last tip.
So guys, what do you do to overcome your boredom? Like, if
Good
you've
question.
struggled with this before, what have you done to take your relationship to the next level? So automatically, there's a whole lot of play games naked, whether it's Twister or board game. Those are great things. We talked about the importance of having conversations and the importance of dating, but are you stuck in that type of situation where it seems like, you know what, every day feels like the same day? It's like Groundhog's Day. We're trapped in this time warp, and that's why you want to bring new and different into the relationship to break up the monotony, because as they say, monogamy leads to monotony.
Can lead to monotony. And you know what I was thinking about? The example of riding a roller coaster by yourself, right? It's boring. Like, it really is.
Yeah.
How can you be on such an amazing ride with all these ups and downs and dips and curves and twirls and be sitting there just like this?
Yeah,
and you know good and well you've done that, right? So with your spouse, when you first got on that roller coaster with your spouse, it was like, woo!
Yeah.
You had your partner, but you become one, right? Things become monotonous, and now it's just you on that roller coaster. Maybe you need to bring another couple along with you. Make some friends.
You got to. And it's a good point, because, earlier, I guess, in our marriage, when we were traveling a lot, she would go to these amazing places, or I would go to these amazing places, and we were like, oh my God, this is awesome. And what we would do is we'd be on the phone.
Well, we were at work. It's not like we were just leaving each other.
Well, right, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
We were working, but my point is, we would be on the phone with each other, telling each other how great this place was, wishing that our spouse could be there. Because you know what, you can enjoy life, but it's so much better and sweeter when you have somebody else to share it with.
It's so true. I would be like, oh my God, this is so gorgeous, but he's not here.
Yeah. Beach fronts, beautiful hotels, just all types of experiences, entertainment. You want to be able to do that with your partner, because it can become just like, when you're doing it by yourself. We have some comments. We took your advice and has started to date again, 1 or 2 dates a month. Love it, Ronald.
Good job.
It makes a significant difference when you begin to get that into your routine. And here's the deal. Let's add something to it. If you're doing 2 dates a month, you be responsible for 1 date, let your spouse be responsible for another, because her idea of romance is different than yours. Her idea of fun, different than yours. Her idea of adventure or her tolerance for it, different than yours. And if each of you are taking turns, then you're bringing your personality into that date, which makes it uniquely different. And I think that's a great, great, great idea. Tanya says, yes, please, ladies, you need something that's separate from your husband. Do something that completely separate from spouse. Yes.
Have a life of your own.
Got to have a life of your own.
Because if you don't, eventually you're going to feel that. You're going to feel like you left something behind. It's a part of you that you left behind. I hear women say it all the time. Before my husband, I used to do this, that, and the third. I had this plan. I had this goal. Well, why give it up? Continue. Learn a new task. Get a new hobby. Take on a new job. Whatever. But continue to expand, grow, and learn.
Last but not least, D'Angelo says, good morning. Be spontaneous. Get a projector. YouTube a nice concert and have a dinner and a concert.
Great idea,
that is a great idea. Yes.
And you know how many entertainers are doing that now? They're doing all of these virtual online concerts. Now, they need to come down on the prices. I'm just saying, some of these prices for these virtual concerts is a little bit extreme. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you can do that. You can put your little high boy up and put a candle and some rose petals around and have a little private concert. I love that idea.
That's a great idea. Guys, I hope that you are getting something out of today's topic.
You don't have to be bored.
You don't have to be bored. You can turn that thing around, and we're excited for your journey in 2021. We know we're committed to having fun and doing great and amazing things, whether we're inside the house or outside the house. The point is we're together. We're going to switch it up. We're going to do what we do. But listen, guys, thank you for tuning in today. We want to leave you with one commercial. Many of you, if you've worked with us before, there are all types of things that we take you through, but we have a new tool that we're excited about that really gives couples a scientific approach to transforming their life and their marriage. So we're going to end with this commercial, and we will see you tomorrow. Listen, sign up for the Last Chance Weekend. It's not too late. The link is in the description below. We're going to have a transformative time. We want you to be a part of that. But until then, we will see you on tomorrow. Take care. Have you been struggling with issues that have gone unresolved for Okay. Have you been struggling with issues that have gone unresolved for significant amounts of time? Are you desperate for change but don't know exactly what to do? Well, Couples Academy has the answer. The Gottman Relationship Checkup is a clinical tool that scientifically evaluates relationship strengths and challenges through a comprehensive assessment based upon 40 years of research. With it, each partner completes the assessment in 5 key sections: friendship and intimacy, trust and safety, conflict management, shared meaning, and individual areas of concern. This personalized report provides detailed analysis, flags areas of concern, and suggests specific treatment options that we will discuss together. The insight gained from this assessment will help to take you off the road of recovery and place you on the path to fulfillment. If you're ready to experience quantum growth in your marriage, contact Couples Academy today. All right, guys, we will see you tomorrow. That's our show. Love you.
Love you.
Listen, join the Better Marriage Club. Get it. Your marriage deserves it. Take care.
Bye.